Hey guys, so today we're going to go through a little Earth Encounters gameplay. So first let's start by the game components. First, we have the Q&A deck. Q&A deck on each card has 2 straight answer, 2 multiple choice, and 2 true and false questions. Each player answers a corresponding question depending on what roll of the die that they roll for that particular turn. Next, we have the challenge questions. The challenge questions are thought experiments and also role playing. Next, we have the state deeds. The state deeds have information about each state and continent and also have a corresponding QR code to take you to their home website so you can learn more information. Lastly, for the card decks, we have the Eastern Time Zone states. There's 22 of these cards that represents a location where the alien can potentially be hiding. And then we have the game die and then the game pieces. And hopefully with your help on Kickstarter that we can get our custom ones done instead of using these sorry ones. So, before we begin, let's take a look at the board. As you can notice, it's very, very colorful. Each color represents a different time zone. And the reason why we broke down the board like this is for 2 reasons. First, typically in geography games, they just typically put down a map of the United States, and then they expect the players that are playing from Canada to be able to know where they're going. But unfortunately, everything is upside down when you play like that. So that way, we made it easier on users by spreading it out so that at any different point that you're sitting down, you have a great vantage point of where you're playing and where you're located on the board. Secondly, we broke it down by different time zones because we wanted to emphasize the fact that the United States encompasses 5 different time zones. So now, to how the actual game is played. We know for a fact that the alien life form is hiding somewhere in the Eastern Time Zone in these blue states right here. However, it's put up a red barrier around the Eastern Time Zone so it can hibernate and awaken to consume the knowledge of humanity. So it's our job to travel from the time ship encounter to the Eastern Time Zone. Now, when you're looking at the board, there's 3 different paths that you can choose. So here's how the flow of the game works. At the very beginning of the game, somebody randomly takes a card from the Eastern Time Zone and places it right here. This represents where the alien life form is hiding. Now, each player rolls the die, and whoever has the highest number determines the order of play. So, say for instance I roll a 4, and everybody else rolled 2 or 3s. Now it's my turn to roll. Depending on what numbers I roll, I can advance to the next different time zone. So, for instance, for the Hawaii or for the Pacific Standard Time Zones, I can roll only even numbers. So if I roll an even number, then I can advance only if I have the option of answering a question from the Q&A deck correctly or successfully doing a challenge deck question. Now, if I were to pick from the Q&A deck, whatever number that I rolled at the die, like I said, is a corresponding question on the Q&A deck. So, name one important accomplishment of Abraham Lincoln. All right, well that's easy. He signed the Emancipation Proclamation, which freed the slaves. So, now that I've answered that question correctly, I can now advance to Hawaii. If I'm the first person to land on Hawaii, then that state is now under my protection, which means I get its state deed. I want to collect as many of these deeds as possible because as soon as I get into the Eastern Time Zone, if I answer a question incorrectly, the alien life form takes one of these away from me. If I run out of these state deeds, then I get exiled to Antarctica and can't return to gameplay until I can accumulate enough state deeds that I feel comfortable. On each state deed, there's a QR code. So for when it's not your turn, you can go ahead and take your smartphone and it'll take you right to the state website so you can get more information. So, that's the Q&A deck. Now say for instance, I wanted to try something different. I'm not feeling confident, so I want to try a challenge question. Each player has the opportunity to do either a Q&A or a challenge. So say for instance I wanted to do a challenge question. Which changed the world more, Microsoft or Apple, and why? At this point, I have 2 minutes to give my argument on which changed the world more and why. There is no right or wrong answer to this question. However, it is up to me to persuade the opposing players whether my argument is sound or not. And they have to have a sense of integrity because they can be in the same situation. So there's a little bit of an honor rule right there. Okay, So, now that we've established the different types of questions, players need to advance and get all the way to the Central Standard Time Zone. Once there, because of the barrier, you have to go around and then enter in through one of the continents. And the same rules apply. Now, when somebody finally enters the Eastern Time Zone where the alien is hiding, we don't know where it is. So at this point, all of the state deeds in the Eastern Time Zone need to be collected. Once all that happens, whoever at the end of the game flips over the card, and whoever has the state where the alien is hiding is declared the winner. Now there's one small wrinkle to this. If you have been collecting all the state deeds and you get to the end, and somebody who's only collected 4 state deeds happens to have the one where the alien is hiding, that wouldn't be fair. So at that point, both players go into a sudden death match, and whoever is the winner is the one who answers the questions correctly. And whoever is the first one to answer incorrectly is the loser. Alright, and that's pretty much how it goes. Thank you for watching.